This upcoming week, as you know, we enter the season of Lent. It's quite curious then that we have this gospel reading about the judgment of others and the fruit one produces. Particularly our readings from Sirach and our gospel from Luke 6 mention what comes out of the mouth. Sirach says, one's speech discloses the bent of one's mind, while Luke says a person's speech discloses the fullness or the ways of their hearts. Perhaps then no pronoun in the English language in our modern world today is more dangerous than the pronoun I, usually followed by the verb can't, or prefaced with but I, or but I can't. I speak from my own experience when I use that pronoun. It's clear that I'm putting myself first. My desires, my wants, my needs, my judgments, you name it, often it can be me first. Maybe others here have experienced something similar. Before Mass began today, we heard, as we do every year, about the works, needs, and impacts of the Archbishop's annual appeal. And we can react maybe by judging different parts of the video. I didn't love this part, but this part's okay, and have all our own sorts of thoughts. Often we can think inwardly of ourselves and our own needs or our limitations of what we can and cannot give. Or maybe we're thinking of the assistance that we need. Maybe you saw something in the video and you said, well, I need that. How do I get part of that? We're thinking sometimes about ourselves. But I'm a firm believer with our monetary resources and our resources in general, the blessings, the gifts we're given, they're not ours. They're not ours. That though we think they're ours, they're not truly ours. But we're simply God's stewards of the resources He's given us on this earth. We're only people passing through for a time being. Cardinal George, who was the late Archbishop of Chicago, once said this quote that stuck in my mind. He said this, "The only thing we take with us when we die is that which we have given away." The only thing we take with us when we die is that which we have given away. And we're not just talking about our resources, but our time, our ears, what we've dedicated our hearts to. It's a quote that sunk into me deeply within its context. Let's take it to heart, that when we are asked for something, we give freely, no questions asked. Our parish does this beautifully. Every Christmas, every week, supporting our food pantry, all the volunteers that we have for the many activities going on week in and week out, and through your constant continued support of the appeal, it comes from your heart, or maybe a desire for a tax break, but I like to think it comes from your heart. But seriously, when we give seriously, and when we're intentional about giving seriously, it comes from a place in which we're deeply moved, in which it's a cause that's worthy. And maybe sometimes, yes, we can grumble a little or think of the dangerous pronoun I. But in those many times that we may grumble, let's recall the words we heard from 1 Corinthians in our second reading today. Therefore, my beloved brothers and sisters, be firm, steadfast, always fully devoted to the work of the Lord, knowing that in the Lord your labor is not in vain. May God then, who has begun the good work in us, bring it to fulfillment. Amen.